Nutrient density maxing has become one of the most prominent trends in wellness circles, encouraging people to prioritize foods that pack the most vitamins, minerals, and bioactive compounds per calorie. Liver, sardines, eggs, dark leafy greens, and other nutrient-rich items are hailed as the ultimate high-value foods, and influencers present them as essential for optimal health, energy, longevity, and cognitive performance. Apps and social media posts tout nutrient density scores, comparing foods, and creating a quasi-gamified approach to eating that makes people feel they can quantify the quality of every meal. While the underlying principle, focusing on foods that provide more micronutrients per calorie, is sound in theory, the trend carries multiple pitfalls, from accessibility challenges to sustainability issues, and risks oversimplifying nutrition in ways that can backfire. The appeal of nutrient density maxing is clear. It promises efficiency. Instead of counting calories or obsessing over macronutrient ratios, followers are instructed to eat a handful of superfoods that supposedly cover every vitamin and mineral need. Liver is promoted for its exceptionally high vitamin A, iron, and B12 content. Sardines are valued for omega-3s, calcium, and vitamin D. Eggs for protein and choline, and dark leafy greens for folate, vitamin K, and magnesium. Nutrient density metrics quantify these benefits, creating the illusion that selecting the highest scoring foods is sufficient to achieve optimal nutrition. On social media, the messaging is persuasive. If a food has a high score, it is portrayed as objectively better, and eating anything else is framed as less efficient or even inferior. But the trend has significant downsides. First, it can create imbalances if people attempt to maximize nutrient density without regard for overall variety. Overemphasizing liver or eggs for B12, for example, risks excessive vitamin A intake, which can cause nausea, liver strain, and, in extreme cases, bone weakening or toxicity. Over-reliance on small subsets of nutrient-dense foods may also neglect other essential nutrients, fiber types, and phytochemicals found in a broader variety of plant foods. In other words, chasing the highest scores can paradoxically reduce the overall balance and diversity of the diet. Accessibility is another concern. Not everyone has easy or affordable access to liver, sardines, or fresh dark greens, and high-quality versions of these foods can be expensive. The trend, amplified by social media, risks creating guilt or a sense of inadequacy in people who cannot consistently purchase or prepare these items. It also favors highly specific foods, reinforcing a narrow view of nutrition and contributing to elitism in wellness spaces, where adherence to the perfect, nutrient-dense diet becomes a status symbol rather than a sustainable practice. Sustainability issues are often ignored. Liver and sardines are animal-based foods, and increasing demand at scale can create pressure on fisheries, livestock production, and ecosystems. Dark leafy greens, while plant-based, require significant water and energy resources, depending on the region and season. The narrative of maxing nutrient density rarely addresses these environmental considerations, presenting the trend as purely individualistic and short-term rather than part of a broader system of sustainable eating. For people trying to align health goals with environmental responsibility, the tension between maximizing nutrients and minimizing ecological impact is rarely acknowledged. The social and psychological framing of nutrient density maxing also carries risks. The focus on scoring foods or hitting targets encourages quantification over intuition, turning eating into a constant performance metric rather than a balanced, flexible practice. People may feel compelled to eat certain foods every day regardless of taste preference, cultural habits, or digestive tolerance, which can foster rigidity, anxiety, or disordered patterns. Overemphasis on high-scoring foods can also create a sense that common or familiar foods, whole grains, potatoes, seasonal vegetables, legumes, are somehow inadequate, when in fact they provide complementary nutrients and fiber essential for long-term health. While nutrient-dense foods certainly offer real benefits, the trend exaggerates the idea that a few high-scoring items can replace broader dietary variety. True nutritional optimization comes from diversity over time, incorporating both nutrient-rich foods and a range of fiber types, proteins, fats, and micronutrients across meals and seasons. Focusing exclusively on liver, sardines, eggs, and greens may improve certain lab values temporarily, but it risks reinforcing restrictive habits, nutrient imbalances, psychological stress, and environmental strain. In short, Nutrient density maxing demonstrates both the appeal and danger of quantifying wellness. While emphasizing nutrient-rich foods can improve health outcomes when applied thoughtfully, treating the practice as a strict, high-stakes scoring system encourages overconsumption of certain items, neglect of dietary diversity, and unnecessary stress. Accessibility, sustainability, and balance are rarely addressed in viral portrayals, leaving participants at risk of creating more problems than solutions. The trend highlights a broader issue in wellness culture, turning nuanced, long-term nutrition principles into gamified, metric-driven habits that feel powerful but often oversimplify biology, human behavior, and ecological realities.